The advice and opinions expressed by Dr. Granpeesheh and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. Ajitha has written in and said, "Hi both. Firstly, thank you very much for the wonderful work. My son is 5.5 years old, goes to kindergarten at public school, can speak 4 to 5 word sentences. Do you think he needs B12 shots?" That was not where I thought that question was going, but that's where it
I
went.
know, I was shocked by that. Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So I generally, to answer the question about B12, you should probably have a physician do a blood test and see if there's a deficiency or if there's other reasons why they'd suggest B12, like lack of energy or something like that. But in terms of having 4 to 5 word sentences, that's awesome. And I think he needs ABA. I don't know if you're doing ABA, but 4 to 5 word phrases is a really solid foundation on which you can build quite extensive language. So I don't know that, a lot of parents will like say, oh, I need my child to I need something to jumpstart my child. Let's put it that way. And I don't think you are there. I think your child has a good start. You just need to build on it, if that makes sense, Shannon.
I want to ask a follow-up question. I want to ask, what makes you think that they might need the B12?
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of parents tell me that a physician told them that if your child doesn't have language, a B12 shot might start. So maybe that's what it is.
I will be honest that I'm the person who dragged my feet horribly on the B12 thing. Like, I just didn't want to do it. And it was I think you know this about me. I'm just like, I have to really have a moment and think hard before I take a Tylenol. I'm just not a medication person.
And giving your child shots is a whole nother thing.
And it's
too.
red. It comes in the tubes and it's red. And I'm sorry, but that's a part of it that I was like, I can't inject something red into my child's tuchus. I just didn't want to do it. And people were describing, well, here's the other part of it. People were describing that they were rubbing a little bit of lidocaine on their kids' butts before they were doing it while they were asleep. And I was like, okay, I'm horribly allergic to lidocaine, so I can't be anywhere near lidocaine. So that freaked me out. And I hated the idea of, while my child was sleeping, injecting him with something. I just couldn't do it, right? For so many reasons. And especially Lisa Ackerman, every time I would see her, she would be like, why are you dragging your feet? It's, so many people say that it's so great. But when we finally did start the B12s, I will be honest that our son was speaking at that point. But the issue and the thing that it changed for us is that sometimes my son would come to me and he would say something and there was no context. Mm-hmm. And I would always be trying to figure out, what are we talking about right now? No context was, and we were working on it, but we were struggling with it. And the first week after he started the B12s, and he could say 4 to 5 word sentences to me, but I wouldn't always understand it. He came and woke me up about a week after the B12 shots, and he said, Mom, remember when we went to Disneyland and we went to the Blue Sky building and they showed us how they built Cars Land? And I was like, yes. I'm like sitting up in bed going, yes. And he goes, and remember how we watched that Disney movie about the pigeons in World War II in London? Yes. And he said, I think that they should build London at Disneyland and show us at Blue Sky how they built it.
That's insane.
And I stood up on the bed and said, Jim, wake up. Something's going on. Because before the B12 shots, that would have been him saying Blue Sky pigeons. Yeah. There were the pigeons, Blue Sky, London. And I wouldn't know what the Blue Sky was, which was the building at Disneyland. He would have been giving me all the pieces. That's what B12 did for us. I don't know that it does that for everybody, because I think it's different.
Yeah, so let's talk about what B12 is. And we're actually talking about methyl B12. And
Yes.
it's important because it gives you a clue as to what it's doing. It is improving your methylation cycle. And your methylation cycle has to do with your ability to redox, which is detoxify from toxins. So if you have a child who is a little bit like sluggish or not able to clear their mind, maybe, and as you described with Jem, maybe not able to put things together in more of a, needs some aspect of clarity, which is due to toxicity. And usually this is children who are like more allergic to foods or more reactive and so on. It makes perfect sense in your case, Shannon. Then yeah, methyl B12 is going to jumpstart that cycle. But it's not always going to be that way because there are children where the issue is not a methylation issue specifically.
Yes. Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We hope to see you there.